Welcome back. In this session, we will discuss part 3 of GSTR-9, which consists table 6 and table 7. Table 8 is also there, but we will discuss table 8 in separate session. So in this session, we will just discuss table number 6 and table number 7. Now table 6 and 7 is regarding details of input tax credit for financial year. So whatever input tax credit you have availed during the financial year, details of that input tax credit you required to mention in table number 6 and table number 7. Now table number 6 is regarding details of ITC availed during the financial year. So table number 6 is regarding availment of input tax credit. Whereas if you see the heading of table number 7, it is regarding reversal of input tax credit. So ITC reversed and ineligible ITC for the financial. Now for both table number 6 and table number 7, the source of information will be GSTR-3B. Please note that, like in case of outward supply, you are allowed to report the additional liability in table number 4 or table number 5 as the case may be. So you can, if you have missed any outward supply, you can report that in table number 4 or in table number 5. But that flexibility is not available in case of input tax credit. So through GSTR-9, you are not eligible to avail any additional input tax credit. Please note, you cannot avail any additional input tax credit. So whatever credit you have availed in GSTR-3B, you just require to give the bifurcation of that credit in GSTR-9. So you are not entitled to take any additional credit in GSTR-9. Now let's understand table number 6 first. Heading says details of ITC availed during the financial year. Availed means what? Availed in form GSTR-3B. Make it very clear. So whatever you have availed in GSTR-3B, that credit you required to bifurcate in table number 6. Table number 6A, total amount of input tax credit availed through form GSTR-3B. Total credit. So table number 4A of your GSTR-3B, that figure will be auto-populated here, which will be freezed figure. You cannot edit that figure. So table 6A is freezed. You cannot make the changes in table 6A. Now, precisely when you are filling table number 6B to table number 6H, you are supposed to bifurcate the credit taken in GSTR-3B according to the nature of such credit. So, if say in case of table number 6B, you require to furnish the information of inward supplies other than import and inward supplies liable to reverse charge, but include services received from the SEZ. In the language of GSTR-3B, we know this credit as all other ITC. So, whatever all other ITC you have taken in table number 4A5 of GSTR-3B, you just required to bifurcate that credit as input, capital goods and input service. So all other ITC you required to bifurcate here as input, capital goods and input service. Please remember, here you required to exclude the reclaimed ITC. Why? Because there is separate tab, that is table number 6H, where you can report reclaimed ITC. So here all other ITC other than reclaimed ITC. Okay. One more important aspect, what is capital goods? Because if you see in books of accounts, sometimes we are also capitalizing input services also. For example, you have purchased machinery and you have paid installation and commissioning charges also. So in that case, both the transactions we are capitalizing in the machinery, right? But in case of capital goods, if you see the definition of capital goods means goods the value of which is capitalized in the books of account. So here you just required to take the goods component which is capitalized in the fixed asset, right? So capital goods means only goods. So if there is any capital service, it will be treated as input service only as per as GST law is concerned. So I repeat, in table number 6B, you required to bifurcate credit which is taken under the heading of all other ITC as input, capital goods and input services, except reclaimed ITC, which you will report separately in table number 6H. Now next is table number 6C. 6C is regarding inward supplies received from the unregistered person liable for reverse charge. So if any transaction is subject to reverse charge, In that case, there will be two categories of supplier. Either supplier is registered under GST law or supplier is unregistered under the GST law. If supplier is registered under GST law, in that case, table number 6D is relevant for the purpose of reporting of such RCM credit. If supplier is unregistered, in that case, table number 6C is a relevant table where you require to furnish the information of a tax which is paid under the reverse charge mechanism on which you have availed the credit. So again, table 6C is applicable in case of RCM where supplier is unregistered. Table number 6D is applicable in case of RCM where supplier is registered person. And again, you require to bifurcate it as input capital goods or input service. Now, government has given one relaxation. It says that if you have the information of unregistered and registered person separately, then you can report that information either in table number 6C as far as unregistered supply is concerned and in table 6D as far as registered supply is concerned. But if you don't have that information separately, in that case you can report details of RCM only in table number 6D. So even if it is unregistered supply, you have option to report those figures in directly in table number 6D. Now, one more important aspect which is relevant in this case is that government has given the relaxation in reporting certain figures. Government has stated, or rather CBIC has prescribed in the instruction to the GSTR-9 that in case of table number 6B or in other tables also, you just require to furnish the information of capital goods separately, information of input and input service. You can furnish under the heading of inputs only. So there is no need to furnish details of input services separately. Okay, so input and input services can be clubbed and reported in inputs only. Capital goods has to be reported separately. So in case of capital goods, you require to report it separately. In case of input service, you have an option to report that figure under the heading of inputs only. Next table is table number 6E. 6E is applicable in case of import of goods including supplies from SEZ. So when you are importing any goods, in that case you require to furnish that information in table number 6E. इसका source table क्या है? We know that in GSTR 3B, table number 4A1. In table number 4A1, we are providing the information of import of goods. So that information you can use for providing information in this table. Again, bifurcation of capital goods is mandatory. Rest of the credit you can refer as input in this heading also, and this table is also mandatory table. Now, next is table number 6F, which is applicable or which is in case of import of services. Now, in case of import of services, table 4A2 of GSTR 3B is the relevant table for furnishing the information. So you can directly use table number 4A2 for furnishing details of import of service. You require to take the since on import of service we are paying tax under the reverse charge mechanism. So figures which you are reporting under table number 4F as an input tax credit availed on the import of service should not be more than what RCM you have paid under the in GSTR 3B. Next is input tax credit received on ISD. In case of input service distributor, you require to mention that credit under table number 4A4, right, of GSTR 3B. So that information you are supposed to furnish in table number 4G. Again, both this table number 4F and 4G are the mandatory tables. Now, table number 6H. Okay, we have seen 6F and 6G. Now we will see table number 6H. Now, in case of table number 6H, you are supposed to provide the information of ITC which is reclaimed, right? Now, what is this ITC reclaimed? Say you fail to make the payment to your supplier within a period of 180 days from the date of invoice. In that case, according to the proviso to section 16 subsection 2, you require to reverse the input tax credit on such supplies, right? Now, subsequently, whenever you will make the payment, in that case, you are entitled to take that credit, right? So all such kind of reclaimed credit you require to furnish in table number 6H, right? So again, what is the source in that case? Table number 4A, okay, will be the appropriate table for getting the information, right? And again, furnishing information in this table is mandatory. You required to take the cognizance of 170/2/2022 GST dated 6 July 2022, which says that you required to take the credit strictly according to the GSTR to be, तो उसका cognizance आपको इधर लेना पड़ेगा. So this is table number this is about table number 6A to table number 6H, right? Here we are just bifurcating credit which is taken in GSTR 3B. So this is just the bifurcation of credit of GSTR 3B. Now 6I is total of 6B to 6H, and 6J is difference between 6I and 6A. Now in perfect scenario there should not be any difference because we are just bifurcating the credit, okay? So in an ideal scenario there should not be any difference between the table 6A and table 6J. Now this is the other information of ITC, right, which has nothing to do with your GSTR 3B. इसका आपके GSTR 3B से कोई संबंध नहीं, right? ये इंफॉर्मेशन क्या है? ट्रांजिशनल क्रेडिट, जिसका अभी कुछ रिलेवेंस नहीं है, वो ऑलरेडी खत्म हो चुका है. ट्रांजिशनल क्रेडिट थ्रू ट्रान 2, दिस इज आल्सो नॉट रिलेवेंट एज पर एज करंट फाइनेंशियल ईयर इज कंसर्न. एक्सेप्शनल केसेस में हो सकता है. एनी अदर आईटीसी अवेल्ड बट नॉट स्पेसिफाइड अब. नाउ सी व्हाट we are specifying in table number 6B to 6H only credit which is availed in GSTR 3B. Now there are other ways also through which you are availing the input tax credit. For example, credit on stocks at the time of registration you are availing through ITC 01. In case of transfer of business you are availing credit through ITC 02, right? It may happen that as the result of adjudicating authority is saying that ki whatever pre-deposit you have deposited, it will be recredited to your electronic credit ledger, right? So in such cases, those credit which are not specified above or which are not declared above will be declared in table number 6M. And then there will be subtotal, that is K to M. So this will be total ITC availed by the taxpayer during the financial year. So table 6 is about the availment of input tax credit by the registered person. Now table number 7 is regarding reversal. So whatever ITC you have reversed in GSTR 3B, okay, उसका आपको इधर bifurcation देना है, उसका bifurcation आपको इधर देना है, right? So table number 7A to table number 7H is regarding reversal of input tax credit. देखिए, as per rule 37, if you have made any reversal, that is non-payment of tax, non-payment of consideration to the supplier within a period of 180 days, तो उसका रिवर्सल आपको इधर दिखाना है. अगर ISD का कुछ क्रेडिट नोट आपने रिवर्स किया है तो उसका रूल 39 के अंडर आपको इधर दिखाना है. 42 कॉमन ITC ऑन एग्जम्प्टेड एंड टैक्सेबल सप्लाईज, उसका अगर कुछ रिवर्सल है तो आपको इधर 42 में दिखाना है. कैपिटल गुड्स का जो भी रिवर्सल होता है ऑन एग्जम्प्टेड सप्लाई प्रोपोर्शनेट, वो आपको 43 में दिखाना है. 17(5) में अगर आपने कुछ इनएलिजिबल आईटीसी रिवर्स किया है, जो कि 170/02/2022 ये जो सर्कुलर है उसमें बताया गया है कि इफ देयर इज एनी इनएलिजिबल क्रेडिट इन योर GSTR 2B, तो उन्होंने बोला है कि उसको आप पहले ऑल अदर आईटीसी में ऐड करो और नीचे 17(5) में उसको रिवर्स करो, सो दैट इनएलिजिबल क्रेडिट का जो भी शेयर है वो स्टेट्स को प्रॉपरली मिलेगा. करेक्ट? तो ऐसा अगर आपने कुछ इनएलिजिबल क्रेडिट रिवर्स किया है तो दैट यू रिक्वायर्ड टू रिपोर्ट इन टेबल नंबर 7E ऑफ GSTR 9. ट्रान 1 से रिलेटेड कुछ, अगर ट्रान 1 एंड ट्रान 2 से रिलेटेड अगर कुछ रिवर्सल है तो आपको दिखाना है टेबल नंबर 7F एंड टेबल नंबर 7G. अपार्ट फ्रॉम दिस कैटेगरी अगर कुछ अदर आईटीसी आप रिवर्स कर रहे हो तो उसको आपको दिखाना है टेबल नंबर 7H में. फॉर एग्जांपल अगर आपने ITC 03 में कुछ रिवर्सल किया है या रूल 37A के अंडर अगर आपने कुछ रिवर्सल किया है वेयर return is not filed by the supplier within the prescribed time limit, so in that case that reversal you are supposed to declare under the heading of table number 7H. Now table number 7A to 7E, 7A to 7E you can report under the heading of 7H direct. आप 7A to 7E का अगर आपके पास separately information available नहीं है तो in that case you can directly report that figure under the heading of 7H. उसको आप डायरेक्टली 7H में रिपोर्ट कर सकते हो, राइट। टेबल नंबर 7I इज टोटल ITC रिवर्स्ड इन टेबल नंबर A to H एंड टेबल नंबर 7J इज नेट ITC अवेलेबल फॉर द यूटिलाइजेशन। तो आपके इलेक्ट्रॉनिक क्रेडिट लेजर में जो भी नेट क्रेडिट आपके पास अवेलेबल है, बैलेंस अवेलेबल फॉर द यूटिलाइजेशन, दैट यू कैन क्रॉस वेरीफाई with this tab. If there is no other ITC availed during the financial year or no other reversal other than GSTR-3B, तो आपका GSTR-3B का जो नेट ITC है उससे ये फिगर मैच हो जाएगा, राइट। तो रिमेंबर 7A to 7H तक आपका रिवर्सल आता है। मोस्टली दिस फिगर्स आर बेस्ड ऑन द टेबल 4B ऑफ GSTR-9, जिसमें हम परमानेंट एंड टेम्पररी ITC रिवर्सल करते हैं। उसका ये सिर्फ आपको बाइफर्केशन टेबल नंबर 7 में देना है। एक चीज ध्यान में रखो जो मैंने शुरुआत में भी बताई थी कि इन केस ऑफ इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट यू आर नॉट एलिजिबल टू अवेल एडिशनल इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट थ्रू फॉर्म GSTR-9. Similarly, you are also not eligible to reverse any additional credit in GSTR-9. So this is very important aspect. Most of the time we have seen that people are additionally taking input tax credit in GSTR-9. So that is not allowed, right? So with this, we will conclude this session. I hope you understand this table number 6 and 7 of GSTR-9. Thank you very much.